Done our dough, chaps. We've done our dough.
Hello and welcome to the Derby Day edition of Odds. This is one of the really better race days that has come along this spring, as it should be. So nothing but excited. All quality all the way through the day. Getting back to last week, Cox Plate Day. It wasn't the result, the profit result that I thought. Just didn't really get the Cox Plate right. I left Via Sistina out of most of the multiples and didn't really go for it hard for the win. I just thought the market drift was a bit, it put me off a little bit, and Pride of Jenny, I thought with the leaders track that was going to be maybe the way, or at least prognosis, but no, what a dominant win. It was amazing. Like it was fantastic to see those four, that quartet go at it, and Broadside again to third. But some other winners, Plenty of Ammo was really good. Bitter Creek was really good at value, had the right run. So little collects along the way, but nothing major to tip us over into profit territory. Could have gone Lady Jones in the last, had it in the Quinellas, missed out on Lavore. Yeah, so we got like 32, 40, 47, sorry, about a $17 loss for the day. And then we only had about $3.50 in bonus bets come back. So it'll be a testing time again. The profit margin has steadily come down. So we were sitting at around 30% for a while, then 25. So it's now 18% overall return on the races. It could be that we're feeling that without even the AFL losses, with the bonus bets to help us, that's coming down. So it's been a while since like a big return race day. That'll be something to analyze in a different episode to see what benefit that has. Even if we're losing 20 on the AFL, are we gaining more through the bonus bets that come back? But getting into Flemington today, and we'll have a little look in Sydney at the Golden Eagle and the Cup up there. So Flemington race 1. I think this is a good betting opportunity. Feroce is a big favourite at $2.30. It did run a very good second in the Corporate Guineas, yes, but that was a really leader-dominated race, and it benefited from being up on that speed. And it's not really a winner per. I mean, 6 starts for 2 wins, yes, but you've still got to come out on Derby Day race 1 and put a field of 8 away. And at the 2.30, I don't know. I'm not as keen. Aliana was good running on his Sydney at 480. That's a huge chance. The way that it wove its way through the field and hit the line, the 480 is good value. I think the rest are making up the numbers a little bit. King Acton on Verma should lead. Has a lot of speed. I think it's a huge jump in class. Stylish Secret was a really good win last time over King of Wall Street, which then went on to win 2 weeks ago. Made up a lot of ground, Stylish Secret. So it is jumping in grade. But I think that the 950 is really good value in a small field. The pace might be an issue, but I'd like to have a little go at it. So for me, it'd be sort of staying away from Feroce a little bit. If it wins, cool. But I'll do each way Stylish Secret, and then Quinella's around 2 and 6 as standouts, so they can rove with the field, hoping that Feroce doesn't run first or second. And then for a trifecta, Stylish Secret and Aliana as roving bankers, same philosophy, and then the field to rove. Small start to the day, and just, see what happens, see what the track's sort of playing like. 12:20. Race 2, 1400 metres, the Tab Vanity. This one, it still is a really good race, but it was a better race before the scratchings came in. Chewing Gum would have been really interesting at 15-1. It made a stack of ground last time. It looked like a dangerous horse, but that's out. So Supercilious, that was going to add something. Stage and Scream would have been interesting too. So they're all gone. So this one, looking at it, you've sort of got to line up some of the existing really good form with some of the emerging form. So Good Sort made up a stack of ground in Sydney. Looks like the kind of horse that they would bring into state and would win. It's been crunched in a bit from 850 to 550. Some of that's obviously because of those scratchings, but in general, I think there's been money for it. And the money still is coming for Zaytung, which I was very keen on last time. It had that wide-ish run, came into the race and still made a lot of ground. Couldn't catch Too Darn Lizzie, but great run. And I think people are expecting that to happen again. And I'm still keen on it this time. I think it'll run really well. Questions are from barrier 2, is it gonna, like, where's it gonna be? Is it gonna go back and have to run on from midfield and be sort of stuck? And is the 550 just too short now? Because it is a really good field, and I'd still probably wouldn't take anything less than 7. And sort of the same with Good Sort, because even though Lovely Cut hasn't been running in the same quality of races, that was still an impressive win. Things like Benagil and More Territories are still good horses, even though I don't really like them today. Matisse was favourite initially, which I found interesting because, yeah, I'd put that in the non-winner category. 1 win, 2 placings from 6 starts. Well, to me, it looks like one of those horses that's forever running on, forever looking good, but not winning. So, I mean, that's still there. That could win, obviously. Anything can. Dominetta. It's just a really even race. So I'm reluctant to take anything too short. I'm Velvet. I'll be interested to see whether it can get over its sort of barrier matters and run well. Kuroi Nagi, I mean, good horse. And then you get to the top 2. GG's Mistruth, which just has had a really bad run with wide barriers, and, you know, $15 is crazy for a horse of that caliber. The 1400 meters at Flemington is a particularly tricky distance to have a wide gate, so it's been written off a bit. But I mean, if Billy Egan can get it into a good position from there, everything changes on a dime. So that's there. And then Two Done Lizzie, well, it would probably roll forward, and if it's a leader's track, could repeat what it did last time. So it's summing that up. It's still a very even race, and I wouldn't go too hard on anything. I'll still have something for the win on Good Sword and Zaytun. They are still my top selections, but not with a lot of confidence. So I'll have one with the tab, one with sports bet for bonus bets back. And then for Quinellas and trifectas, it'll be a Quinella for 1, 2, 5, 9. So that's 2 Done Lizzie, GG's Mistruth, Zaytun, Good Sort. And the same for a trifecta. Good race though, very, very high caliber. Moving on to race 3, the Rising Fast 1200 meters Group 3. This one's a bit different. I wouldn't say it's a really high quality race. It's a race with a lot of horses that seem to always be entered for things like this. So It's Our Time is always sort of around the mark, running 5th or 6th. Who Dares, sort of similar. Crosshaven's another offender, always just entered and doesn't really run anywhere. And there's a bit of a class edge. So like Marble Nine's probably reaching a bit. Jungle Gym the same. Ray McNario is an interesting one. It's 480 backed in. I sort of see it more as a Caulfield horse in that sort of listed open Group 3 grade. Even though this is a Group 3, I feel like it's a strong sort of Derby Day Group 3. So I wouldn't have thought that would be necessarily a favourite in a race like this. I know Schwartz is, and it's a really good horse. I just think that it's a bit hit and miss. And 390, it's going to have to handle the straight really well. Johnny Rocker, I mean, it's out of form a little bit now, but it's been running in the peak, the best races around, always going back and always running on. So you can't really read as much into that 10th and that 7th as what it seems like. That's still a really high class horse at $12, dropping dramatically in grade. So that's what it's a bit of a race where you've got to sort of line up these things. And like Star Patrol used to be an absolute top liner. It's struggling for form now. But I mean, that could change really quickly, and then that could be back to its sort of best category. So putting all that to one side, I really like Mahaba. I really was, initially when I looked at the race, it was a horse I wouldn't usually bet on, and I looked at it, and that third in the Group 2 at Caulfield made up a stack of ground when there wasn't a lot of horses making up ground. And I thought, okay, no, this is quite good. And then I looked back at the previous races, and it made me think that it's a horse that's building to something, and that this prep might be a bit of a new high watermark for it. So I'm going to have something on Mahaba and see whether that is right. And Charmstone, I feel like is also going to hit a bit of a new high this prep. Good last prep winning at Moonee Valley listed. Then it went to the Group 1 and was only a length behind Militarized. That's great. And then it's resumed at Caulfield. Had a nice hit out. It's gone back. It's run on. Nothing really to see there. Feel like it could be really set for today. So Charmstone and Mahaba are the two top picks to me. And then in terms of Quinellas, it would be 2 Mahaba, 4 Johnny Rocker, 12 Charmstone. And I'll throw in my old sentimental favourites, Jungle Gym 13, Marble 9 14, just in case somehow they ran a place and pumped up the Quinella. I'll leave Schwartz out only because it's just a favourite and it'll dilute the dividends, but I could easily do like Mahaba and Charmstone standouts and then like do it with Schwartz. But yeah, I think Johnny Rocker, if you're looking for value, that's really good value. That you look at that form 0 spell 707 and think it's out of form. It's not really. It's just been running good races and running on as it likes to do. So especially if it's a run on track, that could thrive. And it's placed here before, so to check that whether, again, I think it's more of a Moonee Valley Caulfield horse in my mind. But yeah, good race like they all are, and see how you go. I wish you the best of luck. Race 4, the Damien Oliver. I do not like this race at all. Jimmy Star always runs on and just gets there. Even though it's, I wouldn't say it's a good Group 2 race necessarily. I mean, I know that another Will's in there, but like a lot of these horses are sort of hoping to reach their best form against a party. The Astrologist, not an option. Nicolini Vito, I'm not really sure about. Ripcord's trying to find its feet here. So I just think very volatile. And so Jimmy Star will go back and try and win. And when you're a $2.50 favourite and the whole market's on you, that can be quite difficult. Even though on paper you look at the wins and you go, oh, this will win this race. Not necessarily. Another Will last time, I wasn't that keen. I didn't really understand the wraps on it. It didn't run well in that Antino race, but that might have been a bit of an unusual race purely because Antino hit the front so early and it might have thrown the other horses off a little bit. So I would look past that. I'm not sure how good it is or whether it should be favourite here or whether it'll win or what. So I'm just going to leave this race. And if I, just for the bonus bet situation, I'll probably do something on another Will. Just a small bet just for bonus bets back. Just because Tab are going to do a promotion on Jimmy Star, $5 pumped up odds, which I feel like usually they would do that on horses they think are going to lose. So that's just my only really reason. But yeah, do not like that race at all. I guess we'll see. Tamerlane and Mighty Ulysses, interesting. Yeah, hopefully you have more insights than I do on that one. Race 5, the Wakeful Stakes. This one's cool. I like it when a horse is brought down and it's a big hot pot. So Powers of Opal, look, it won that race at Hawkesbury by 5 lengths, blew that field away. That's great. It's a different ball game winning on Derby Day, but obviously it's a really good horse. Obviously the form doesn't reflect how good it is, and obviously the stable or the public knows something because it's been back from $2.80 to $2.10. So that seems inevitable that's going to win. However, I don't like to jump on things just because of the market necessarily. So I'm not going to back it. I'm going to go for Chocolates, 26. I think it's great value, and I've got really good memories of Shocking. I got the quaddie on in 2008 on Melbourne Cup Day when I was in an exam at Caulfield Racecourse and came out and saw that that had won. And there was a horse, Dasham won the sprint. It made up enormous ground in the last 50 to overhaul Here the Angels. Great day. So happy memories of Shocking. It's produced a lot of good stayers. This one looks right in that mold. The way that it won at Bendigo, it didn't really beat anything, but just the way that it won, I thought, okay, this could be a good horse. So I would definitely do that for the place. It's not an overly strong race. It'll be running on. There's probably a few here, including Killcat Beach Girl, that are going to go up and serve a bit of a speed. So that will help it. But yeah, I'll do each way on that. Powers of Opal, yeah, it'll be really cool to see if it does blow them away. And Jenny's Meadow, really strong horse, really good horse. It's been running in good races. The 850 is definitely value. So for me, each way, number 11, Chocolates. I would have had Lit Steel before it was scratched. And then Quinella, 1 Jenny's Meadow, 5 Powers of Opal, 11 Chocolates, and 13 All Kinds of Folk. I think that might get better as the distances go longer. It probably needs more than 2,000, but I'm happy to throw it into a Quinella. And the same for a trifecta, 1, 5, 11, and 13. Yep. Yeah, cool race to see. Race 6, the Coolmore Stud. This is always an awesome race. And the thing that I found in recent years is that the established form lines don't always hold up. There's usually horses that are starting their preps a little bit later that are sort of set for this, and often the winners are around $10 or $15. So it hasn't, in my mind, I'll have to do a bit of analysis, but it hasn't, in my mind, hasn't been a great race for the favourites. Although I do remember Northern Meteor winning at like $1.50 probably 10 years ago. So that sort of bucks that trend. But yeah, so where to begin with this? Growing Empire, if you purely looked at the form, you would struggle to understand how it's $3.60 because it's been running in these great races. It had them shot to bits at Moonee Valley, just got overhauled by Southport Tycoon, only really because it hit the lead so early and it was so dominant over them, and that just pulled out a great final for the sectional. And then it's running an Everest, like none of these other horses could even dream of that. So that's amazing. And it looks like an absolute star, even though I definitely didn't like it early on. It was going against it every week. So that was my error of judgment. But it's really good. And you would think just like 360 great value. But I think we're all sort of thinking how many grand finals has it had? Like it's riding that Everest and now it's got it back up again. Traffic Warden, really high class horse. That was scratched from the Everest, so I don't know how that's going to throw off the prep, but a much better horse than maybe people realise, and that's a definite threat. And then Switzerland, the form lines aren't as strong. It put away that Group 2 last time, beat Coleman, which I don't think is something you can really write home about. But I was talking to a mate, and he was sort of saying how he was really keen on it, and how set for today it would be, J-Mac on board. So I'm taking that into account, and the money's come a bit, so it's into $5.50 now. So that's a serious customer. First Settler's done nothing wrong. It's been brilliant all prep. $18, huge value. Gatsby's sort of getting really good value on as well. I think Stolly Bolly's probably a bit of a level below. Yoshinobu a little bit the same. Gallant Sun, I mean, it's only had, is it 3 runs? Yeah, like it's still sort of working its way into its prep, and people probably look at the second and the fourth and sort of write it off, but yeah, that's again great value. Lady of Camelot, that's a really important one. I mean, third in that Group 1 at Moonee Valley behind Mornington Glory, up in Sydney, 7th behind I Am Me, and then 4th in that Everest. So really great horse, and $8.50 is value. So I'm almost tempted to take on Growing Empire either with Traffic Warden or Lady of Camelot. So for me, I mean, Bellatrix Star is there as well. I had just expected that sooner or later that would lose, and so I just didn't even really count it that was going to do well today. But it just keeps on meeting the bar. They keep on setting the bar and it keeps on meeting it. It did win last time with 51, so a little bit of different ball game here. For me, hard race to really be certain. I'll have something on Traffic Warden and something on Lady of Camelot with the 2 different agencies, and then Quiddels and Trifectas around those 2. So 3, 13, and then I'll throw in Bitter Creek number 4, First Settler number 6, number 12 Gallant Sun, as a big box Canella, just purely for the fact of taking on Growing Empire and seeing if it has a bit of a down week. But yeah, really good race, and not one I'm super, like I don't think it's a great, like an all-in sort of betting race. So race 7, getting onto the Derby. Not a vintage edition. I'm not super excited about this either. Where would I begin? El Castello, good horse. Castelvecchio, a good sire of stayers. Won that Group 1 well last time in Sydney, beat Headline. I don't rate it that highly, and the barrier has put me off, and the money has it's been trickling out all week. So 380 initially, then 480, now 5. So I didn't like it in that way, but then it's not an overly strong race, and you've got to think, like, is anything else sort of up to this class? And honestly, I'd say no, they're not. So it probably is the best horse in the race. Red Aces I see more as a dour sort of staying type. That race that it won last time at Moonee Valley was really weak, so I won't be jumping on that. Keeneland, hard to know. It was good at Flemington when it won. Then it was weak last time in a really weak race. Saint Emilion, as I said before, anything that wins a Geelong Classic, I can't take seriously at all. But I'd love to be proven wrong, so that would be cool. King of Wall Street, really good last time. Kumani Stayer. I mean, yeah, that's value for a place, definitely. Politely Done hasn't really done anything wrong this prep. King of Thunder, interesting one. Look, it's probably a race where I don't like anything too much, so I don't want to sort of talk as if I'm that knowledgeable about this race. Like it's really sort of trying to pick the best of the bunch. I like Gold Rush Guru purely for the way that it won in Adelaide. Usually the Adelaide form doesn't stack up, so it's good to stay away. But this time, it's been just so consistent all prep. The way that it won that race at Morpheville impressed me. It didn't beat anything, so I can't really compare that to what El Costello's done or Politely Done, even the race that's been in. But yeah, I'm going to have something on that. I just feel like it could be a good stayer. So each one on Gold Rush Guru, and then a Quinella around 1 El Costello, 4 Gold Rush Guru, 6 King of Wall Street, and then 8 King of Thunder. But yeah, not a massive go for me in that one. Race 8, the Empire Rose. This one is a massive go. I think Atishu is one of the bets of the day. It's been running in the best of the best races against the best of the best horses. It seems like a bit of a non-winner in that grade, but it's just running against the creme de la creme. So I'm very keen here with the sort of the level weights against this field that's going to run really well. Amelia's Jewel is going to be right up there. Orchestral probably needs a bit more distance. Zardozi is an interesting one, backing up off the Caulfield Cup, dropping back 800 meters in distance. That's really interesting to see. And like $18 here when it was like 7 or 8 in the Cup is interesting. Komochi should run really well. That 4th at Randwick last time was really, really strong behind Ostraka. So I'd like to have that in multiples. Alsafina, I think, is the one that's gone under the radar. The runs have all been really good. It keeps sort of rising to the challenge. I think in that Antino race, people sort of thought it wouldn't measure up, but that was a really good 3rd. So it's drifted out to 8, but that should go in all Quinellas. Lekvart was good last time. However, I'm just not as keen here. And I think that race last time was very, very winnable. Maybe this one not so much. Plenty of Ammo. I loved it last time. I think it was like really, really set for that race. I just think it's a big jump. And I'd love to see it do well, but I just won't be taking it against Atishu. So for me, a bigger bet on Atishu, and then a Quinella around 1 Atishu, 6 Komochi, and 7 Alsafina. And then a trifecta for 1 Atishu, 2 Amelia's Jewel, 6 Komochi, 7 Alsafina. That does the Empire Rose. And then going on to the Furby Sprit, the last. This one's a good betting race too. I really like Sans Doute. It's been very consistent. It finally gets back to the dry track that it wants. It's had to cop a lot of slow tracks lately. It's been close up. I just feel like this is going to suit it. It loves the track, loves going down the straight, and the money's come. It was around about 650. It was into 5 before. It's just eased to 550. So I'm very keen on that. A Little Deep Sun, nothing wrong. Cigar Flick's a good winner. It pops up at odds. Kundalini, I feel like it's probably better suited at Caulfield, but it's definitely good value at 17. Wanda Rocks, that brought down from Queensland. Often those horses love the straight and thrive, so that's something I'll put in multiples. Scuderia, definitely take for a place. 125 to 1 for a horse like that. I mean, it's been running in 5th in a Group 2 last time by 3 lengths. That's not bad. A length behind Holy Racket at Moonee Valley. 2 lengths off Warrington Glory. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And 15 starts, 5 wins, 5 placings. I think people have just forgotten about that. So definitely for the place. I think Ferrari will lose. I think it's been running in lower grades and looking good, but it's a whole different ballgame here. I'd love to be wrong, but I'll definitely avoid that. Isthmus got knocked over last time. You can't take that run on its face value. Interesting how it will have gone on from then, and whether it'll be super ready or mentally whether it'll sort of feel like it's going to get knocked over again. But that's one at value. And Pondalawi, I mean, it's an equal favourite for obvious reasons. And Kiko, I mean, that's a horse, 20 starts, 3 wins, 9 placings, super consistent. Could easily bob up into a place at 80 to 1. So that's pretty impressive. So for me, definitely a bigger bet each way on Sans Doute. And then a Quinella for 3 Sans Doute, 13 Wanda Rocks, 14 Scuderia, 16 Kiko, 17 Isthmus, and box those again, same for the trifecta. So great days racing at Flemington. Moving on to Rose Hill, I just want to look at 2 races. Obviously, the Golden Eagle is probably one of the best fields I've ever seen assembled. Not in terms of having the absolute top liners, but in terms of quality all the way down, every layer, and in terms of evenness, in terms of interest, when you've got these French and Japanese horses. I've never seen anything like it. So this is Southport Tycoon at 11, V8 at 41. I backed it last time. I was very keen on it. It didn't really deliver. I watched the replay a few times, and I just feel like that it was trying to make ground against a leader-dominated pace. It got within 4 lengths. I feel like that is way over the odds at the 40s, so I'll be jumping on that again. Tom Kitten's been so good. Ostraca's been so good. And Cap is over the odds. Kintyre at 125 is over the odds. I mean, that's been running in really good quality races and just been sort of running 4th or 5th or 9th. Likes the track as well. And you can make this is the crazy thing. You can say this about all these horses. War Machine at 60s. Lazat, the French horse, 6 starts, 6 wins. Huge interest. It's crazy that it's won a Group 1, and for all those 6 wins, it's got 580 grand in prize money. Whereas Kintyre, who hasn't got anywhere near the caliber of wins, is already up to 750,000. But again, it's had a lot more starts. So yeah, Lazat really. I mean, I can see why it's second favourite. Amazing interest. The jockeys come specifically for this. Craig has done nothing wrong, $15. Lake Forest, it's just with that English form, it's just a smorgasbord. I really like Stefi Magnetica. I feel like that made good ground last time too from an unfavourable position. Jolly's son, Macarena, the quality Skybird go around at 70 to 1 when it's 4 wins out of 10 starts and placed 7. Huge. And these Japanese horses, Ascoli Pacino, placed in every run. Corazon B. Basically, my takeaway from this is just pick something and go for a bit of a wider Quinella and Trifecta and try and jag like a 50 to 1 that's going to run a place or something. But this is incredible. I would say the value is probably on V8 and Stefi Magnetica. Those would be the two that I'd single out. But yeah, such a good, interesting race. Haven't seen anything like it. The Golden Eagle's really doing well. And then going on to the Rosal Gold Cup, race 9. This one, I would say go each way on Faulkner Park. It's been running in good races. 480's, I think, good value. And Sagati, number 10 as well. Non-conformist gets the dry track that it wants. It'll be interesting seeing how Huyamal goes. But yeah, Faulkner Park and Sagati. So that does it for the day. Fantastic day, fantastic weather. I'm really looking forward to seeing Atishu in particular, Sans Doute in particular, Mahaba, Gold Rush Guru to a bit of a lesser extent, and then outsiders like Chocolates, Stylish Secret in race 1. And yeah, the Coolmore is going to be very interesting. And yeah, what a day ahead. So good luck to you. Hope you have a fantastic day, fantastic wins. And yeah, we'll be back for Melbourne Cup. Over and out.
And then came Sweet Liaison as they turned for home. Jefferson, he's been in front every inch of the way. He's out like 2.